Yeah.
And there was a group that they started coming up from North Wilkesboro, and they would ask for a specific. Who did you catch for, Cubby?
Carl Swafford.
Carl Swafford.
Yeah.
Little short Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd come on Wednesday afternoons and sometimes on Fridays, I think.
Right. And so you really got to meet some nice people, and Boone was a great place to grow up when we were kids, because you could be mischievous and not get in too much trouble.
I'll tell you what, not so much me, but these two guys right over here, they not too long after the golf course opened, they subsidized pretty well their allowance, and our allowance was quite meager. But they subsidized the allowance plucking these guys and come up there and both y'all are pretty good at taking somebody's money. They, of course, they didn't think they could play, and these guys could play. And
I do. Mark's never heard this story, but his mom and I were dating at the time, and I won enough money that I had more than $1,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I didn't know what to do with that much money. And so one time I was taking her back to Charlotte, and I said, I'm going to put this somewhere. So there was a savings and loan on the left in a big gold building not too far from where she lived, a quarter of a mile or something on Independence Boulevard. And I opened up an account and I put $1,000 in there for my winnings.
Austin's playing Alfred. What he had against gambling, what he had against different things you don't understand, but he didn't want you to gamble, period. He didn't want you to play for a nickel.
No.
And so we had to keep that we were gambling.
Right.
That was
the QT.
Oh boy.
Sure.
So Austin, and I think it's Freddie Einstein, you'll have to correct me on this, playing down at Tanglewood in the state amateur.
Right.
And I think on the front nine, Austin went putt, chip, putt, 4 or 5 times. Shot 40 something.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a
49.
doctor playing with you and Freddie.
Yeah.
And so the doctor, I guess, had made enough fun of how Freddie and Austin were doing that they played the doctor. Was it for $100? That's the back nine.
Yeah, we didn't have close to that. We knew we played better than he had. And so Freddie had shot like 44 or 45. And I'd come off shooting 375s without knowing how to get the ball out of a trap. That's another story. I mean, I didn't know how to get the ball out of the trap, and so I started hitting the trap. I tried to putt, and the lips were only about 8 inches high, and so I just kept living in the trap. And that is stranger than truth, but these guys witnessed it, and so they and so this doctor had money. Just said, well, let's play for some money the back nine.
And all three of you were out of the.
Yeah, we had no chance to win the tournament anyway, and so I think Freddie was, he was bolder than I am.
He liked to gamble.
He liked to gamble. He said, "We'll play for anything you want." And the guy says, "Well, what?" So, "We'll pay for $100." And we could even spell $100.
Yeah. But you knew you could beat him.
We beat him to death.
Then I forgot how Austin. I remember I knew what was going on there, and I forgot how Austin got paid without Dad seeing him getting paid.
Yeah, that was the
something.
biggest challenge.
Yeah. Dad would have given it back to him or taken it himself. I don't know what he'd done, but I never have understood. He just had this real negativity about gambling.
Austin lived in Greenville, Tennessee for a while, and it belonged to a private club over there, and there were a bunch of guys over there that loved to gamble. I mean, loved to
big
gamble.
time, yeah.
And we'd go over there, and they would always overestimate their abilities and underestimate your abilities, which is the ideal situation if you're gambling. And we took a lot of money out of Greenville, Tennessee.
Well,
We'd play 3 on 5. There'd be 5 of them playing, 3 of us.
Yeah.
Well,
2 best ball.
Yeah. We'll tell you one story and then a general story. The story Sam and Tom and I like to tell is that we weren't members at Hound Deers, but we could get on Hound Deers. And so I was living over there. They were living here. And so we were beating them to death over there. But some way they ended up, they were going to come over here and play. And so Sam and Tom and I, 3 of us play, 5 of them. And in 18 holes, we made 17 birdies and an eagle, and they made 4 birdies.
Yeah.
And we owned them.
We owned them. And Hicks
and they wouldn't back down.
no, they wouldn't back down.
And we'd go back over and play them.
It goes, we're not going to try that bet again.
Well, the amazing thing is, I was about a 1 or 2 handicap at the time, but obviously Sam was better than me. He was playing on tour, and so Hick was not quite as good as I was. He was like a 3 or 4. Maybe he's a good hand, but if you took Sam's average score and Hick's average score, Sam would beat him 6 shots around,
Yeah.
5 or 6 shots around, and he refused to take strokes from Sam. I'm gonna play you heads up. I'm gonna play you heads up. And so Sam would make enough money to live on tour for a while.
Yeah. Keep from starving to death.
One related to that real quick is most people watching this will know what best ball is. They had a member guest golf tournament over there, and Tom's played some good golf, but this is the best I've ever seen him play. And so there was this Yankee, we call he was kind of an obnoxious Yankee guy, older than me. Probably we were playing and we were in our mid-20s and he was 40 years old or something, a little short guy. Just a lot of guff and BS and all of that. His name was Jack Whalen. And so he liked to think he was a good player. And in some way we ended up, when we were going to play in the member guest, that he said, well, I want to invite Tom. Will Tom come over and play in the member guest? I said, sure. I'm sure he would. He needed the money, and so he came over to play in the member guest, and this is best ball. In other words, the best score on each hole between Tom and Jack. Well, Tom on his own ball shoots 67, 66, and so he shoots 133. The team shoots 132. But for 3 months in town, did y'all win them? I'm not sure if you won.
No, we lost in the playoffs somehow.
Anyway, so they tie for the tournament. Months and months around, it was told dozens, if not hundreds of times, Jack Whalen told everybody in Greenville, Tom and I shot 132.
Yeah.
He failed to say that he helped on 36 holes, he helped 1 hole.
Yeah.
1 hole, 1 stroke. Said, boy, Tom and I played good. Got beat in the playoff. We shot 132.
That didn't happen very often.
Well,
maybe.
golf has played a huge part of huge part of our lives.
It sure is.
Me and Tom in particular, because we're both golf pros and stuff. But it's really, it's hard to imagine where we started playing at Mountain Air, playing with and pulling our carts across the green and laying our bags on the greens and stuff like that, to where we.
Well,
remember-
we say it's pretty singular. I mean, the sense that,
but
we Tom and I got to play a lot of nice golf courses and all, but to go from a goat track like that didn't have sand traps to win a pro tournament and play in the U.S. Open and Masters is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, but I remember we were baseball players, and there was another family of brothers over there, and that we used to go and play baseball. And we played baseball a lot with them.
Yeah.
And we thought we was pretty good baseball players. I don't know what we were, but we were better than they were.
Yeah.
Anyway, Austin came home one time and he said, I like golf better than I do baseball.
And we were shocked.
And you had taken away our lollipop.
Yeah, that's right.
I
We
mean,
could
Sam
not
and
believe
I
that.
couldn't believe. You like golf more than baseball? He said, I like golf more than baseball. And I wonder what position Sam would have played.
You require somebody pretty short and kind of slow.
Kind of slow. Can't hit.
Well, since we got a little time on the tape, I'll tell you the story. I was probably a freshman in high school then, and I'd played on the baseball team and had lettered only because I hustled. I had a weak arm. I batted like 180. I mean, I couldn't throw the ball from here to there. The most embarrassing thing happened is we were playing a school in West Jefferson, and I hit a clean single into right field, and the right fielder threw me out at first base.
By several feet.
They even have to have just a replay on it. Anyway, So all three of us favorite people were our golf coach at that time was a guy named Jack Gross. Ended up working for Tom at the pro shop for years. But Bob Sneed, who married our first cousin we mentioned, he was the new golf coach. No, I'm sorry. Who was
Walter.
no, but which was coaching which? I don't have that clear in my mind.
Jack Gross was coaching us in high school. Are you talking
No,
about high school?
no, I'm talking about which was coaching golf and which was coaching base. I know.
Francis Hoover was coaching.
No, I know it. I know. Let me back up a second. So Bob Sneed was the baseball coach, and Jack Gross was going to be the new golf coach. And so I'm deciding, where does the school need me best?
Yeah. Where can how can I best utilize my talent?
Next time I can get to first base.
and so Bob Sneed's a great guy, and like I say, married our first cousin and all that. We good friends and all that. But he's the baseball coach, and so I just agonized my sophomore year.
Yeah, boy.
They just started the golf team. My sophomore year was the first year of the golf team, and they didn't have any players that could play, and I'd played a little, and so naturally I could get to play on the team if I wanted to. But I agonized, and I finally went to Bob Sneed. Again, our friend married our cousin, the whole deal. But he was the baseball coach, and I went to him and I said, Bob, I called Bob. I said, Bob, good news. I said, I've been trying to decide whether I'm going to play on the golf team or the baseball team, and I decided I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to play on the baseball team. I'll never forget. Bob looked at me and he said, I think you may better play on the golf team.
So that's why you love golf more than baseball.
That just shows you what a big man he is. He needed you on that baseball team. The golf team means you more.
Oh my goodness.
Well, this is not the serious part, but if we do a serious one, we got to tell you about the person outside our family that affected in a positive way our life the most by far.
Yeah.
Was the guy that taught us all to play golf.
Yeah, Bob Kepler, and he'd been the golf coach at Ohio State, and he retired and came down to Houndiers, and Tom went to work for him. And at the age of 22, when Bob Kepler retired, he recommended Tom for the golf.
Well, I was 23.
3, I thought.
I thought you were 22.
I've been at Beach Mountain 2 years.
Okay.
So
24?
I was 24 or 5.
He's 24. Well,
But
he helped you get the job at Beach Mountain.
he got me the job.
At Beach Mountain.
Oh yeah, he got
Yeah.
me the job at Beach Mountain, and he got me the job there at Houndier.
Yeah, and then and now and any time, being the head pro at a club, Houndiers is more prestigious then than it is now.
Yeah.
And be the head pro at age 24 or 25.
Yeah.
And no offense to our gifted brother, to Tom and my left, but I don't believe many people would have bet of Sam being on tour and winning a tournament without Kepler's help.
No, absolutely not.
And then thirdly, I mean, I certainly became a better player as a result of it.
He was a very nice gentleman.
Yes, he
He had
was.
lots and lots of good qualities.
Yes, he
And,
did.
But yes, I had been turned down for the job. Actually, I'd met with Harry Robbins, and Harry Robbins told me, he said, I had promised the job to a guy. He was a member of the guy at Indian Creek, and
Prestigious club in Florida.
yeah, and he'd offered it to him, and I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I think Harry's secretary called me the next day and said, could I meet with Mr. Robbins again? And so I did. And when I was pulling into the meeting, Bob Kepler and Harry Robbins were in the car talking. And when I went to meet with Harry,
Yeah.
he offered me the job. So
Right.
there's no question in my mind.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, there weren't many 25-year-old head pros or 24-year-old.
Not a
head
really
pros.
nice place.
Not
Not
a
nice place.
nice private club.
Not at a goat ranch, hardly.
I know.
Huh?
That's true.
No, well, and again, no. We could go back and look, but I'll say this: I know we're on serious things a little here, but Sam graduated the tour school of 71, which continues to today to be the most successful tour school in the history of the PGA Tour. In other words, the people that played in that tournament won more majors, had the best careers of any tour school in history. And I absolutely promise you that there wasn't a single person in that group that hadn't done something more impressive than win the Johnson City Invitational.
Yeah, I know. Well,
You hadn't even been an All-American in college.
no.
No, yeah,
But he could putt his golf ball.
Yes, he could.
He could putt his golf ball.
But everybody couldn't put their golf ball.
well, you got to strike it too. But yeah, he was.
Yeah.
We can tell those stories forever. But so anyway, yeah, when things were, I'll stop with that. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
But he deserves recognition because he, by far and away, meant more to our family,
Yeah.
outside our family, than anybody else. There's not even a number two.
No. He's a wonderful man.
I learned a lot of my leadership stuff from here. I'll stop on that one. I was not a consistent player, but I could hit the ball a long way. But he played long irons in those days, and one iron they don't even play anymore. But it was an extraordinarily difficult club to hit. And Jack Nicklaus was the best in the world. He was the best in the world at anything. But I'd sit on the practice tee at Hound Deers and hit one irons, and he said, you're probably the best long iron player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, every shot I hit, Nicholas would be barfing.
Yeah. Well, if we've got time, we ought to tell how he quit smoking. When he was at Ohio State. Now this is how strong his constitution was. When he was at Ohio State, he used to teach all the time, and so the lesson tee was 400 or 500 yards from the pro shop, and he'd go out there in the morning. They would send his lessons to him. He'd come in for lunch. He'd have lunch. He'd go out there in the afternoon. They'd send his lessons to him until the end of the day. And so he said he would never go out there with less than 2 packs of cigarettes. And so one afternoon he's had lunch and he's walking. Now he's smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day. He's walking out to the lesson tee, and he reaches for a cigarette, and he realizes that he's not brought any. And so he turns around and looks, and it was about maybe a 300-yard walk back to get his cigarettes, and he just said, hell, I quit.